Hey everyone, this is Matt, one half of the Matt Men Movies podcast, and this is a little change of pace. The other Matt is not here because he's not a horror guy, and this is spooky month, so I wanted to reach out to some people in the horror community on Twitter. I'm going to keep saying Twitter, sorry. I'm never going to say X, it's just not in me. So I'm speaking with Adam. He is an active member on Twitter, and with the Mutant Fam, the Joe Bob Mutant Fam. He's also a writer, and he owns a coffee shop. We'll get into all of that. So how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. How are y'all doing?
Not bad. Are you in your coffee shop?
I am, yeah.
Now, how long has this been open?
It's been open about a year and a half, so since last summer.
So tell us about the coffee shop.
It's a horror movie themed coffee shop. We're in downtown Dallas, serving great coffee all year round.
So why would you go with the horror theme for the coffee shop? I've never seen that before.
There's a few out there. The Brood is really great. I'm sure people know about like horror vibes and stuff. It's my opinion that like themed coffee shops in general do really well. Dallas needs some more spooky fun stuff anyway, but we're also in kind of an office building, and so we have a convenience factor already. We have plenty of foot traffic, so we really wanted to bring in more outside customers. So we thought if we make it a theme thing, that would help do that. And me and my wife both love horror and stuff, so it just made sense. I just brought in all my stuff from the house and put it in the shop, and we were ready to go.
So tell me about your love of horror, how you got into it. Like for me, I can't really pinpoint when I got into it. I didn't really watch a whole lot of it growing up, unless you want to count stuff like Jaws and, the kind of stuff you'd see on Channel 21, if you're from Dallas, Channel 21. But how did you get into horror?
TBN.
Yes.
I think is what it was. I watched all that stuff on TV. I remember my mother took me to see Lord of Illusions at the movie theater when I was probably 8 years old. That was fun. The audio didn't work, unfortunately, so we had to leave. But we had a Blockbuster right down the street, so it was really easy. My friends' parents owned a video rental store in the sticks way back when, so we had access, and I just would just watch anything. It's where I first saw The Fog. It's where I started watching all John Carpenter stuff, and it just hooked me immediately.
John Carpenter was a big one for me too. I think part of it's just because that 70s 80s aesthetic that kind of went with a lot of Spielberg's work. That kind of helped me get into it in high school, and then really become a fan of it in college. Unfortunately, I took a horror sci-fi fantasy class in college, and we would do double features every week. And this was, on film, 35 mil, one of the best theaters on the planet. And they had a double feature the day before Thanksgiving. And they said, if you want to, not come because, you guys have to travel, just watch them while you're on break. And it was a double feature of The Thing and Fallen.
Nice.
And my roommate and I decided, let's just, because he was going to spend, my roommate was going to spend Thanksgiving with me, and we decided, let's skip it. The Thing, because we didn't know anything at the time. And we rented both, and we put them on. And the second shot of The Thing, we looked at each other and we're like, oh, we should have stayed. We screwed up. We shouldn't have rented this on DVD. And not just that, but you're watching it on DVD, on a projection TV instead of, 35 mil. But tell me about your writing.
Or 80p.
Right, yeah. MPEG 2.
Yeah, right. My writing. I I write a lot of horror comedy right now. I did Suburbanite, and I followed it up with Home Chopping Network. Both of those are horror comedies. Just kind of about getting older and relationships and all of that.
What got you into writing?
I've been a writer forever. Like literally, even in like high school, I would spend my lunches in the library just working on stuff. So I've been a writer since I can remember, and just got hooked with. I loved movies, obviously, so screenwriting just made sense, and just started going at it, and really just been going at it ever since.
So, first of all, are you working on anything new right now? And can you say anything about it?
Well, I mean, I'm not like working on a project right now. I'm actually trying to finish a tabletop role-playing game that I'm making called Fully Loaded. It's like an 80s action movie inspired RPG. So that's been eating up a lot of my like creative time the last year or so. And then of course the shop has been doing well. So all my free time to write is kind of gone. We weren't very busy in the shop the first few months, so I had a lot of time. I finished a couple of things really quickly. I wrote a sequel to Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves for fun. Loved doing that. And then I wrote a very quiet, low budget, like horror fantasy called Remnant, just about like a wandering knight in a very post-apocalyptic medieval landscape.
Oh, I want to see that. Like that sounds rad.
Yeah, there was no dialogue the first like 30 pages, very bleak. Yeah, very, very fun experiment.
That every time I sit down and I start writing something, I'm like, I'm going to go light on the dialogue this time. It doesn't hold out. Like it's so fun for me to write. So like if you can do 30 pages of just prose and screenplay format, I applaud you. Okay, so we met online through the Mutant Family, thanks to Joe Bob and Darcy. How did you find out about Joe Bob?
How did I find out about Joe Bob? I love Joe Bob. Always loved Joe Bob. He, like, in Suburbanite, I have a character named Bobby Joe Williams, and he is basically Joe Bob Briggs. If Joe Bob actually started hunting monsters for real. But, I used to watch tons of, like, Mystery Science Theater 3000 and then Joe Bob Briggs and USA Up All Night. Those were, like, my three things as a kid that were on basic cable that I just watched all day, every day.
We didn't have, we had cable when I was growing up in California, and then for like 8 years as a kid here in Texas, we didn't. And then my sophomore year of high school, we moved up to Indiana and we got cable again. And that's when I discovered Joe Bob and Mystery Science Theater and kind of like opened my mind. And I will never forget, on when Joe Bob first showed the uncut, for TV at least, version of The Fly. Mm-hmm. He has my favorite review ever of The Fly in one line. He came back from commercial and he said, "It's a movie so good it should be shown in museums." I can't think of a better way to describe The Fly than that. So I want to know, can you give me your Rushmore? Your Mount Rushmore of horror movies.
The Thing is up there. Is this like a personal one or like...
Personal, like your favorite, not the best.
Right. So, The Thing. I would put Army of Darkness up there.
Nice.
I'd probably put... I don't think like Ghostbusters would count.
my
maybe
kind of. My oldest daughter actually ruined it for me years ago while we were watching it, because she loves Ghostbusters, but the part where the right before they go into Dana's apartment and like the whole, the city, like the streets breaking apart. I think she was like 4, and she goes, "How are they doing this with ghost power?" And like it just broke my it just broke my immersion. And it's been kind of hard to watch since then. But no, I think that can count as a horror movie. There's horrific stuff in it.
Yeah, it's a horror comedy, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly a comedy, right? I mean, Alien is up there for sure. Yeah. I think you have to put Alien up there. I'm looking at my letterbox right now. I also really love like Return of the Living Dead.
That's a personal favorite of mine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the poster is actually right here. You can see it right there.
Oh, sweet. I got the 4K, and it is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous.
It's so good.
Yeah. Is that an Arrow release or Shout Factory?
I think the newest one was Shout. I could be wrong.
They nailed it.
Yeah. Such a great movie. So rewatchable. I love movies that are rewatchable, So there are certain movies that are good movies objectively that are just well-made movies that I will never watch again.
Yeah. I always say that like the difference between good and favorite is I can logically say that Casablanca is one of the best movies ever made. Mm-hmm. I would much rather watch Commando 3 times than that one again. And I don't know why, because I like movies like that. But yeah, that one just. Do you ever get into like older horror films?
Yeah. I vaguely remember. I used to buy. When I was young, I used to buy like all of the like 50 horror movie packs for like $10 at the store, and they were all the rights-free movies. So they were always like Night of the Living Dead and House on Haunted Hill. But then they'd have really great stuff like Horror Hotel, also known as City of the Dead. I think Joe Bob did that a little while ago, and I was like, I fucking love that movie. So like even back then, when I was just a teenager, I fell in love with, black and white horror. I watch anything. Yeah.
One of my personal favorites. Oh yeah.
Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
I actually just watched the newest Nosferatu the other day, and it took about 20 minutes for me to get on board. But then I got on board with it. But the whole time I was just like, the back of my mind was going like, you really like the Bram Stoker's, the Coppola version better.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really a high benchmark though.
Although I think if you could replace, as much as I love Keanu, if you replace him with Nicholas Hoult, then I think you have a movie that's like so good the universe would collapse upon itself. Like
Keanu's fine. It's just his accent. If he didn't try to do the accent, he would have been fine.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody else was really doing an accent anyway. So
no, and he did have really good chemistry with Winona Ryder. Like they had great chemistry.
There's that funny story where they wonder if they're really married because when they did the wedding scene, I guess Coppola just hired like a real priest, and they really just did it. And they're like, we don't know.
I don't think they're technically married, but like under the eyes of God, maybe.
Yeah, where were they? Bulgaria or
Yeah, so maybe in Bulgaria they are. But one of my favorite things about that movie is that they came up with all these different designs for, what is Dracula going to look like. Yeah. And they couldn't pick which one they liked. So they're like, let's just do them all. Why not? Like, it'll be a little different in every scene. And I think it works.
The creature effects are amazing in that movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was actually one that they showed in class on 35, which was, God, that was beautiful. So, okay. My co-host, Matt, does not like horror movies. And he doesn't like, sci-fi and fantasy. But we'll talk about horror. Can you make a case for horror movies? Why, we've heard, I think it was on Letterman when Scorsese famously defended horror as like, you have to love it if you're a fan of cinema. What is your case for horror?
I mean, that's tough. But, horror is probably the most creative genre. It allows the filmmakers to do the most creative things. Because it's such a malleable idea, horror, you can really run whatever spectrum you want of the human condition. So, I mean, you can make it scary for you or scary for your characters, but that's not a good line. But it's, it really is the genre that allows filmmakers to experiment the most, especially because of the budgets. Usually horror movies are lower budget. So it allows them to take more risks, do more things that they've always wanted to do, and just be more creative in their endeavors.
I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing, like, it seems like besides like the giant tentpole movies, the only original kind of stuff that's really hitting with audiences is horror, because they'll throw a couple $1 million at somebody and they'll just go crazy with it. I mean, even something like Skinamarink that got a release, like, can't imagine someone pitching that, like it getting released, but they made it.
Came out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, but perfect example right there.
Yeah, like
he just, I don't know the director's name off the top of my head. He just made that movie. He didn't have a studio lined up with him or anything. It was just like, this is my dog. I want to make this movie. We're just going to take our time. It took like forever. It took 4 years or whatever. We're just going to take our time and get it the way we want to get it. We would never have been able to do that if it was like a studio movie.
No. And again, imagine outside of the 1980s when, decisions were made with cocaine, trying to pitch that to someone where it's like, got an idea. It's a movie from the dog's point of view. You're like, oh, so it's a comedy. No, it's horror.
And Presence was the same way. Yeah. It's like, that's a movie from the ghost's perspective.
I dug that, and like, and with that, you even had someone like Steven Soderbergh, who it's harder to get a bigger personality than him in terms of A-list, and he's operating the camera himself, which is crazy, unlike a consumer camera.
Yeah, on an iPhone, I think.
I think that one was one of the Sony models. It was like not the A7 or something. I think it was one of those.
Yeah, he's totally experimental as a filmmaker.
Yeah. I always say he's a guy that he's never made a bad movie, just movies that I don't totally dig.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to say that Girlfriend Experience is a bad movie, because it's not. Wasn't my favorite, but then again, I've watched Behind the Candelabra like a ton. Like, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I think Unsane was shot with an iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Terrifying movie.
He just pops up and he's like, I'm shooting something in a way no one else would.
For no money.
Yeah. So, what have you been watching lately?
I mean, I'm behind. I'm always behind. Let me go through my little letterbox here, see what we watched lately. I do log everything.
I'm kind of jealous of people who log everything, because I definitely don't. I definitely don't. I'll log new. I'll just rate new stuff, but I don't watch, like, if I'm watching Jurassic Park for the 400th time, I'm not gonna log that.
I'll tell you what. We watched me and my wife Something Wicked This Way Comes the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it in quite a long time. Amazing. 1983.
Yeah.
And I made her watch Student Bodies yesterday, which was fun.
I actually saw that on my list because I've been doing Mattoween on Facebook and Twitter, where I do a small review for a horror movie every day for October, and it kind of breaks my brain every year. And I was thinking about Student Bodies, but I went with something else. I can't even remember.
Yeah. We watched Night of the Reaper. I like Night of the Reaper a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And Weapons. Weapons was a week or two ago. That was really great.
Were you okay with the tonal switching? Because I know some people weren't. I dug it.
Which part switch? The ending?
Well, also, like, you have one of the biggest jump scares of the movie, and then it cuts to Josh Brolin, waking up and like, what the fuck, right? Like, because
that was great.
Yeah, because Zach Kreger is, a comedian, but
Yeah.
like I think a lot of people had issue with the ending, like specifically how it was kind of played for laughs, and for me, I thought that was kind of great.
Hold on. This here, but there it goes. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. It was static for a second. Yeah, I mean, the ending for me was great. It was very, because the Gladys, the witch lady, was so evil. Like, that was a very cathartic moment for the audience when the kids were just chasing her down and Day of the Deading her on the lawn, I think that catharsis is really like, everyone has been holding their breath the whole movie, and that's like finally the release for people. And so, of course, yeah, it's a tonal shift, but it's because it's relief now and not terror anymore.
I have another friend. I have a friend who's a writer, and he really did not like that shift at the end. And I made the exact same points you did. And he's like, "Yeah, I still don't like it." I'm like, "I get that, but like to me, like you'd seen so much terrible stuff happen that I wanted that release, and like I couldn't stop laughing during that whole scene."
I know it's pretty great, and really good little twist as well. I did not see it coming, but that moment. But the whole movie is structured in such an interesting way that that kind of sets you up for anything goes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he does next, because I mean he's 2 for 2 right now.
Yeah, Barbarian's
and like Barbarian got my youngest into horror. She and my oldest daughter had a friend over, and her friend was like, "Oh, Barbarian," and they watched it. I'm like, "You showed my youngest daughter Barbarian," and she's like, "I loved it." So much so
like hilarious moment. My favorite moment of Barbarian is Justin Long. Does he find the video footage? He finds the dungeon in the basement, and there's the room with the camera and the bed, and he's just measuring.
Yeah,
he just wants to know the square footage. He doesn't care about anything else. Hilarious.
That movie, yeah, it's really hilarious. But my favorite part about the structure of it is how first of all, you hire Pennywise, right. And the whole time, you're just waiting for that turn. It's like, no, he's actually just a really good guy. It was so well done. And then Justin Long plays such an a-hole. Like, he's such a glorious a-hole that, like, all the way up till the very end. Like there's no redemption with him whatsoever.
He's like, "No, I'm not a bad person. I just did a bad thing."
Totally is.
Actually, no, you're a shitty person.
Yeah, he's the worst human being. Last question. What are you looking forward to?
Oh, man, that's a good question. What's coming out?
Man, I don't even know. I just saw, it wasn't horror, but I just took my oldest to go see One Battle After Another, 70 millimeter IMAX at, Webb Chapel. And that just, I'm so glad I took the time to go see it there, because that was incredible.
I'm so behind. But we are presenting a movie this week in Alamo Drafthouse.
Ooh.
Cruel Jaws, if you've ever seen it, aka Jaws 5. So we'll be there doing that. And then on Halloween, we're going to have a booth at Texas Theater for Joe Bob's all-night horror marathon. I don't know what they're showing, but
yeah, I tried to get tickets, and they were sold out.
I don't think I have tickets. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to be there selling merch and hopefully some coffee and stuff to keep people awake. But that'll be great too.
So drop the name of your coffee shop so everyone knows who you are.
Yeah, we're Deep Cuts Coffee.
Deep Cuts Coffee. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with us. Like I said, I just wanted to, get some people from the community, do some small little bits, and talk about horror, because it's something that it has gone from a curiosity for me to something I really love. And the Joe Bob community is actually something that I love and my kids love, and it's something that we all look forward to. So
they've been great. Again. Shudder has been great. Shout out to Shudder.
Yeah, for real. Shudder's killing it.
Absolutely.
One of the few places out there that's worth your money.
And Tubi. Tubi is free.
Between Tubi and Pluto, that's my night.
Or feasting.